Now, Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament Dianne Kohler is the second MP to be implicated in the Commission of Inquiry into Political Interference within the criminal justice system. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi criticised Kohler for disclosing classified intelligence. In June, Kohler issued a DA media statement revealing that the Inspector General of Intelligence had completed a probe into alleged unlawful property acquisitions. For more analysis on this, we're joined by political analyst Levy Ndou. Mr. Ndou, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it this morning. I suppose we could just start with an overview from you, because getting this much political interference, or so many politicians being spoken of in this saga already, surely taints so many and makes them all the fruits of a poisonous tree.
Good morning, Arabile. Good morning to the viewers at home. When he started on Wednesday, General Mkhwanazi promised the nation that he is going to provide a demonstration and a detailed information about wrong things happening in this SAPS, the interference of people that are not supposed to interfere, and indeed the demonstration of corrupt activities. I need to remind you, Aravil, and the viewers, that he spoke about people that are in the different levels of government, and he said if given the opportunity, he's going to do so. The flow of events in the commission is structured in a manner that Mkhwanazi is able to articulate and explain clearly how those that are in parliament, how those that were in the executive and outside government, and those are criminals, got involved in the wrongdoings at that level. But more interesting is that he is not shy to explain the names. And now that we've got members of parliament that are gradually getting implicated, he spoke about the involvement of Mkhunu, he spoke about Nhlanhla. That for me, it's what he has promised the nation, to explain clearly what has actually happened. And my expectation is that we could still get more names coming out, because he appears to be having all the ammunition that has promised the nation.
Yeah, one imagines then when you have people like the National Coloured Congress leader Fadil Adams said to have obtained and exposed classified intelligence material. One of the other analysts we were speaking to, Jeremy Vieri, who's with my colleague Iman in Pretoria, is that you ultimately, if you find documentation that he says had been given to him, and it is most likely going to be having the words classified written across it, you are unlikely to tamper with it and yet send it through to the correct authorities, whether that be in Parliament, whether that be the security cluster or any law enforcement. And yet that perhaps wasn't done. Does that bring credibility of these politicians then into question because of something like this?
I think every or most professions are guided by certain ethical standards that are supposed to be followed, and they should never be compromised. And when you are in the political space, at times you get tempted to not respect classified information, and in most instances, you do that for political reasons. And that is why you end up falling into the trap of ending up not being someone who can be relied on, someone who is unethical, and someone who does not play the game by the rules that are created. And of course, if we have got this kind of activities being done by members of parliament, do we have confidence that we'll still have something that is referred to as classified information? And now that we have got only these two that are mentioned, my expectation is that there could be a possibility that more are still going to be exposed, because it is in the nature of politicians that when they get something referred to as classified, they don't always want to use it for their own political gains.
Yeah, those political gains are are ones that we then look out for. And I mean, Mkhwanazi yesterday saying that Ms. Kohler Barnard is a veteran in Parliament and as a lawmaker who ought to understand what belongs where, so she's better positioned to call the department to come to account at the right platform. She's also a member, this must be said as well, she's an alternate member of Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is investigating Mkhwanazi's allegations separately from the Nhlanhla Commission. Does that put that ad hoc committee into question now? Because it's going to be a question mark of, will there be a sense of an ability to remain impartial when already something has been labeled against you?
There was a lot of excitement when Mkhwanazi made his statement in July. And Parliament had, and indeed influential members of Parliament were very much quick to say there should be a discussion or an establishment of a committee on the basis of what Mkhwanazi said. While all this were happening, Mkhwanazi had not withdrawn his statement that even members of Parliament are implicated. And with all this excitement from MPs to form the committee, and indeed being requested and agreed to be part of the committee, maybe some thought that Mkhwanazi will not be able to mention their names in the commission. And this now put the entire exercise of the parliamentary committee into a very, very difficult position, because they need to determine whether Kohler has to continue or not, whether all of them are supposed to be part of this committee. What if other members of Parliament, and indeed those that are in the committee, are going to be mentioned? It's going to put the entire exercise in a very, very difficult situation. Of course, something has to be done with the information that Mkhwanazi has provided, because we should be able to find ways and means to be able to surpass this chapter, because it can't just be left as it is. But with all this information that is coming, it is necessary that it is exposed, we know what has been going on, and be very, very careful in how we move forward, because this is something that should be avoided and it should not have happened, especially from lawmakers, from people that are on top of the SAPS, and indeed from some that are coming from the executive.